one. Hey,
Do we clap? Do we clap?
Do we clap? Do we clap? Hey, do we clap? Do we clap? Do we clap? I'm going to tell you what we don't do here. We don't not like the live. I don't know if y'all want to clap, but I need y'all to like this live. It's your sister, Jessie Woo. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure that you subscribe so you can be part of the Black Women's Tribe during Black Women's. Let's get into this Love Island Reunion Black Women's Month. Let's get into this Love Island Reunion Black Women's Month. It's a lot going on. Let me adjust my cameras. Okay. Y'all like the middle part? Thank you so much, y'all. I got this done in Montreal in Canada while I was there over the weekend performing, child. Thank you. I'm feeling real Miami like. I'm feeling like a Miami bitch right now. I'm feeling like a Miami bitch right now. It's giving real Dade County 305. You know what I'm saying? Real, you don't know that nigga. Done been the places I've been. Who can spend the friends I spend? Do about 5, 6 best friends. I don't know, child. Whew. Or it's kind of giving dance hall. For them I drink and I cheat. Oh Lord. Ooh, 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 make the fire, make we burn it. Okay, you know, we can't be singing like that during Black Women's. Let's get into this Love Island Reunion Black Women's Month. I just feel real Caribbean light, real Jamaican light, real Miami light. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you so much, y'all. Oh, this is so nice. The comments are moving fast. How do I slow the chat? How do I do that? How do I slow the chat down? How do I do that? Oh shoot, I could show the comments while they coming in. Oh, I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'm gonna do that from time to time, so everybody can see everybody's comments. I like that everybody can see the comments. Okay. All right, let's get into it, y'all. Make sure that you like the live. Make sure that you subscribe. Let's get into this Love Island reunion. Let me start off by saying this. Peacock count your days, Love Island count your days. Y'all made us wait over a month for this shit. This shit could have been an email. I was bored out of my fucking mind. Okay? I feel like Coco had more time than Jeremiah, which I thought was very weird. Okay? Y'all had a whole bunch of random motherfuckers on stage who didn't need to be there because we never heard them talk and we didn't want to. Wasted my fucking time and spent so much time on shit that I did not give a fuck about. Like, I do not care about none of these Casa de Amor people. Do not care. Did not care about none of these Casa de Amor people. You had Zach there via Zoom, falling asleep. A lot of people were saying, why was Zach even there? Why didn't Zach come? And apparently he had said that at the time Air Canada was on strike, which is true. Air Canada just stopped their strike last week. Also, where was Jalen? Where was Jalen, who was coupled up with Olandria for a minute? Why wasn't he at the reunion? He wasn't at the reunion, but you had JD there and didn't have JD say anything. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. Somebody said they heard that Zach turned it down. Oh, Jalen turned it down? Let me see. Y'all are saying that Jalen turned it down? Okay, maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like Jalen would turn that down though. Something tells me he wouldn't turn that down. He didn't get a bad edit, and he's been killing it on social media post the season. So yeah, I don't think that he would have turned it down. All right. Let me see what this says. Thank you so much, Byron. We deserve more. But can we agree that Ola and Chelleyi did not come to play? Harambe took zero accountability, and Andy checking her ass for a 3-week transformation was tea. Yes, it was. We could definitely clark that. We can definitely clark that. But yeah, we were robbed. Like I was robbed. 2 hours of nothing. Thank you for giving me absolutely nothing. I do want to say that I was very pleased with Andy being the host. Andy wasn't the co-host. Andy was the host of this reunion. Ariana, I think she's great, but being a reunion host is not her forte. That lady barely asked really good questions. One thing about Andy, he's nosy, he's messy. Those are the types of people you need. You need an Andy Cohen. You need a Wendy Williams. You need a Karamo. Like, you need folks who are nosy and messy. That's what you need. If you're looking for a reunion host, you need that. Somebody who's going to get down and dirty and ask follow-up question after follow-up question, because I need to understand what's going on. So shout out to Andy Cohen for hosting. I don't know why Ariana was there. Go ahead and just give it to Andy Cohen, please. Ariana could do like backstage hosting or whatever. Thank you so much, Mystic. Chelleyi and Olandria ate this reunion up. Even with the level of bias editing, they have Hood Rat still. Even with the bias editing that they have, Hood Rat still could not be presented as likable. Yeah. They ate it up. Thank you so much for the super chat. They ate it up. Ate it up. We need to boycott Love Island. We do. Honestly, I would have liked to hear more about Jalen's dumping. That never made sense to me and still doesn't. I agree. That's I'm like, I would have loved to hear from him. Because I feel like we've just like nobody talks about the fact that she was coupled up with him. I find that to be interesting. Hydraulics didn't even have time to address the hate, but found time to find a new male-centered, then lied and said she didn't see the George Floyd picture. Yep. Literally. You know that clip that Steph with the Deets used of me saying that HUDA Rat is a pathological liar? Remember, when she was at Call Her Daddy, she gave this story about her father, which she never mentioned SA. She never said what it was. For all we know, he could have been dangling her over the balcony like daddy's little girls. We don't know what happened. And remember, I said she just gave the story that because she's such a pathological, I can't even say it. Because she's such a pathological liar, you don't really know what to believe when it comes to the words that come out of her mouth. We're going to get to that in a moment, but literally, Olandria, Chelleyi, and a third person. She said it was 3 of them. I believe it was Nick. Olandria, Chelleyi, Nick talked to her about the racism, asked her to post. Olandria told her about it, showed it to her. And what did she say? Oh, yeah, you did. But then she goes on and say, oh, but I didn't know that. I didn't see that. She explained it to you. She showed it to you. She said it. And if you listen closely to what Olandria was saying, and Chelleyi, they had a conversation at the Airbnb. They had a conversation in the airport. They had another conversation. They had at least 3 conversations with Hydroxycut saying, please, can you please post something? Because we're getting a whole lot of racism. And what's her response? Oh, I was getting attacked racially too. Where? I'm not saying it didn't happen, but where? Even with the Rolling Stone article that just came out that had to be deleted, that writer did not cite any bullying. did not cite any racial bullying that happened to HUDA Rat. CHELLEY and OLANDRIA were able to give examples. She could never give an example. She never gave an example of when she was bullied. She never gave an example of when she was racially attacked online. Never provided that. Never provided that. Pathological liar. Pathological liar. We need the unedited version. Jeremiah said a lot was left out of the reunion. 12 hours, and that's all we get. Yep. Yeah. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. If I am being racially profiled, if I'm being racially attacked, I'm going to have an example. So for her to never give an example of her being racially attacked and her being bullied.
The knitter! 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 No!
Yeah. All right. Let's go through everything. A couple things first, though. A couple things first. While we're still on the, because I know we're going to get back into the whole post thing, right? But what's so funny to me is Hydrogen was able to post about Andy Cohen being a Zionist. Hydrogen was able to post about why she didn't want to talk about Lewis. We all know she lied again about Netflix telling her for legal reasons that she couldn't talk about her relationship, which is absolutely not true. Let's hold on. Hold on.
Not HUDA calling out both Ariana Madix and Andy Cohen for mistreating her at the Love Island USA Season 7 reunion and trying to force her to share things she didn't want to share. This is wild. You guys need to see what HUDA posted. So as I'm sure you guys all know, the Love Island USA Season 7 reunion just premiered. And obviously HUDA was one of the main topics of conversation during the reunion. At the very beginning of the reunion, Andy asked HUDA about her new relationship. HUDA recently hard launched her new man, Louis Russell. They walked a red carpet together. But when Andy asked for HUDA to comment on her new relationship, she said she wasn't allowed to say anything because of Netflix. Louis Russell was on the most recent season of The Perfect Match, so he's probably under a Netflix contract. Well, HUDA is now sharing her thoughts on this entire situation. She said, "I prefer to share details about my relationship on my own terms, not on a TV show that it has nothing to do with. Repeated pressure to open up, especially when it's excessive, makes me uncomfortable, and I'd appreciate if that could be respected. But you'll edit out the amount of times you asked and tried to make others answer for me."
Okay, so she addressed that. And also in her Insta stories, she posted this. Okay. Now this is a post of Andy Cohen. I think it's, hold on. What does it say? It's from 2023. He stands with Israel. Standing with Israel while Palestinian children are literally dying from hunger is a choice. Is a choice. Is a choice. That's not war. That is not war. Sorry. That's just my opinion. Watching kids starve to death, I'm not standing with nobody on that. I'm Haitian, and if Haiti was doing that, I wouldn't be standing with Haiti on that. Those are children that are dying. Okay? So yeah. Yeah, and there are questionable, reposts that he's done. Okay, so, it is disgusting that he's standing on that. But also people pointed out that, hey, I mean, you went on Alex Cooper's podcast. She's not against what's going on in Palestine. You went on Call Her Daddy. She's not against that. And also, let's just be honest here. This is another situation of this woman basically self-victimizing or using something as a shield. You know, yes, free Palestine, but don't use that as an excuse or as your shield for lying. You are a pathological liar. You could have just said, at the moment, I do not want to speak about my relationship. Thank you so much. You did not have to say that Netflix put you on. Like, you did not have to say that. You literally lied. You deflected. You lied. A pathological liar. Everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. HUDA and Casey Anthony. There's a documentary on Hulu. I think it's on Hulu or Peacock. There was a girl who was outed for lying about having cancer. And I think she was like a writer on Grey's Anatomy. Same person. Same people. Pathological liars, deflectors, manipulators, gaslighters. You cannot believe a word that comes out of their mouths. She is a dangerous person. She's a hazard. Hazard lied. Period. All she did was lie. All she did was lie on that reunion. All she did was deflect on that reunion. Okay, what's next? All right, a couple of things too. Another couple of things. A lot of people spoke up for CHELLEY and OLANDRIA, apparently, and that wasn't shown. Vanna wrote this in the comment section. I stood up for OLANDRIA and they cut it out too. Why didn't we see that? Why didn't we see that? Apparently, when OLANDRIA was talking about the racism and she started crying, Nick started crying too. Why didn't we see that? And you're not going to have me believe, Love Island producers, y'all are not going to have me believe. Let me tell y'all what y'all not going to do. See, because now after this reunion, y'all are on my shit list, just like Chris Colleen with his raggedy ass. Y'all is raggedy too. Y'all is raggedy too. Because y'all not going to have me believe that Nick just sat there and didn't say anything on OLANDRIA's behalf. Let's keep it a buck. Nick is a talker. That man talks a lot. A lot. What y'all did was y'all just gave us a couple side commentary from him and from him there, here and there. But for y'all to act like and edit that down to where it looks like Nick did not stand behind OLANDRIA, y'all did that on purpose. You wanted to make it seem like the two Black women were on an island by themselves. Ace 2. That is pretty disgusting. To watch the season back and to see the backlash that the Black castmates got, and then get to the reunion and edit it in a way that's going to cause more backlash for them. Y'all are more raggedy than Chris Colleen with his raggedy ass. Who is the Love Island creator? Hold on. Okay, so this motherfucker's the Love Island creator. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. So we're gonna put a face to this. Okay, Love Island was created by a team at ITV Studios, including Rich Coles, Tom Gold, Brent Baker, and Joe Scary. See, so I don't even know which one of you raggedy motherfuckers I could really go at. All four of y'all raggedy. Richard Coles, Tom Gould, Brent Baker, Joe Scary. Y'all are raggedy. During Black Women's, y'all is Raggedy Black Women's Month. The way that y'all had your editors edit this reunion to make the Black people look even worse by setting them aside and making sure that we didn't see anybody backing them up, That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. And it was racist. It's racist to do that. It is racist. Kemi, thank you so much. I'm with you, but sadness doesn't get a pass. This is her first time talking about Palestine, and she still ain't post what Olandria asked her to post to condemn her fans. Thank you so much. Absolutely. And I was going to say that too. Listen, if you go, I don't delete from my Instagram. If you scroll through my Instagram since before I had a platform, you're going to see all types of BLM stuff. You're going to see me out in the streets protesting. Go to my Instagram, scroll back to 2013, 2012. You're going to see all that on my Instagram. This ain't nothing new for me. This ain't nothing new for me. You're not going to find that with hydroxycut. You're not going to find that. Okay? She used that as a shield to deflect. And she was able to call Andy Cohen a Zionist. She was able to talk about Lewis, and she still never addressed the racism. We're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to that. But these are the 4 raggedy motherfuckers who is used. Who did this? Love Island, raggedy. Y'all raggedy for that. Let me see. Love Island USA. So it's still under ITV Studio. ITV Studios, raggedy. Y'all are raggedy for that. And of course, it would be y'all in London, in England, over the pond. We know how racism runs rampant over there. We know they don't give a fuck about black people over there. Shit is hard over here. Across the pond, beans and toast. The beans and toast people, they really don't give a fuck about black people. So yeah. Makes sense. All right, let's get into this motherfucking reunion, child. Before I get into that, child, I can't even get into that. Hold on. Because we also had Jeremiah come forward and say this.
Champ, how you feeling?
Doug, bro, I can't believe they didn't show. What the fuck?
Hey, yeah, I know, but just be careful.
Wait, I don't know what it is.
No,
I'm doing a tell-all. Eventually, I'm
do it when I'm not here. WPR. You know
what are you guys doing?
There he is.
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, champ. Why didn't guys? They did question Ace about the heart rate, but I'm gonna let him say his piece because that's his experience. I'm not gonna speak on it. I was there, but he said, but I'll let him come on say that.
Can you read
That's my dog.
Also, yeah, I feel like they showed the video so everyone can just, they see it.
I was anxious. I felt like it was in the shit.
Iris, I do not like you, and I'm glad Pepe cheated on your ass. Like, even in this clip, Jeremiah is saying he was questioning about it, and you're like, oh, but they showed the video. Shut up. And you, with that little boundaries comment that you made, shut up. The thing is, like, Iris, we really didn't go hard on you. But let me tell you right now, Lips, because even at this reunion, they brought up the whole TJ thing, and you running back to TJ when you got out of the villa and all that. We know you and Pepe were fake. That was a scheme that you set up to come to us with the bullshit. You and Pepe sat there at that reunion and faked like y'all was in a relationship, scamming the entire time. Shut up, Lips. You need to be quiet. Okay, let's go through the reunion. I just feel myself getting upset. First, we had the final 4 couples. So it was Iris, Pepe, Amaya, Brian, Chris, and Hydraulics, and Nick and Olandria. They had Brian and Amaya sitting in between Chris and Hydraulics. I thought that was funny. And then they had CHELLEY and Ace. And who else was backstage? It was CHELLEY and Ace, and I can't remember who else. It doesn't matter. But anyway, they played the montage of Nick and Olandria kissing and him calling her sexy throughout, the experience. They talked about the soul ties kiss. And then they played a montage. They basically played a montage of all the couples. And what I found very interesting was, of course, Hazard found everything funny. Like, they were playing all these clips that were nothing but funny, but she found it all funny. No growth. They even showed the clip of her harassing Chris sexually in that bed. And I found it very interesting that there was no questioning about that. I found that to be a very interesting choice, a very nasty choice, because had the shoe been on the other foot, child, what's going on? What does this mean? My black British ass walked in as she was cussing out the British. LMAO, whoops, Jeremiah has been writing for Nick Olandria, revealing that Nick stood up for O. Oh, so he was the one that revealed that. Okay. Child, $499. That's British bucks? Hold on. What's $499? Hold on. Pounds to dollars. What that mean, child? Am I seeing it correctly? Listener Bell, did you mean to give me that? Child, you got money. What's going on? Child, it say in American dollars that's $672. You know, I ain't got no private room here. I'm not showing no titties or nothing. I ain't showing no coochie or nothing. You do know that, right? We just talking about the reunion. I just came here to review the reunion. That's it. Should I apologize to the people over the pond? I gotta show feet. You know what? This might still be the side tooth fun. Don't start that. Don't start the side tooth fun again. But do I need to show feet? Hold on. I do need to get my toes done. Hold on. I do need to get my toes done, but y'all see under my feet be clean. See, you flat-footed hoes. You black, y'all who be having under y'all feet black as fuck. I always scrub under my feet. Maybe I need to have a little feet, like a little private room where I show feet. Just thank you so much, Listener Bell. I appreciate that. I need to get sprinklers. Y'all remind me to get sprinklers next, because y'all be having money. This is crazy. What do y'all be? What kind of job do y'all? I need to have a feet room. Let me see how I could do that through streaming. I need to have a feet room. I thought that not talking about her harassing Chris in the bed like that sexually, I thought that was a very poor choice. I don't know if maybe that was edited out and we didn't see it, but I thought that was a very poor choice, and I found that to be racist as well. Because the way this woman terrorized the Black folks, she terrorized everybody, but her self-victimization came at the hand of Black people in that villa. Every time she was a victim, it was when she wasn't able to manipulate a Black person to do what she wanted them to do, to act the way she wanted them to act, to say what she wanted them to say. The white woman tears would get activated. And that was just racist to me. That was racist to me. Thank you so much, Destiny. I guess the producer's protection plan comes with a paperback test requirement. HUDA can take accountability if they was handing it out for free. Pretty much. Thank you so much. Pretty much. But yeah, I thought that was very disgusting not to address that. I feel like if the shoe was on the other foot, he would have been kicked off. It would have been a big scandal. Like, it would have been a big freaking deal. And the fact that we don't hold space for Black men to talk about things like this, and the fact that, again, she's given like this redemption arc where we don't even address things that she did, was very disgusting to me. Let's talk about Amaya and Brian, the scammers of the season. Amaya, the way she kept laughing when Andy was asking about Brian cheating on her, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? So they bring up the whole cheating. Andy brings up the cheating rumor. And Brian said he had a lapse in judgment. And Andy was like, what's the lapse in judgment? And he was like, I had a club hosting and I was pouring bottles, like pouring drinks in the mouths of the women in the club. I was ready for Andy to say, and what was the lapse of judgment? Because maybe that happens all the time in the club. That's not a lapse of judgment. That's just the club. That's what we do at the club. What happened after you was going around pouring bottles in women's mouths? What happened after that? So basically the girl that came out and said what had happened, she was telling the truth. What was the lapse of judgment? And am I, people just say, because I didn't post his pinky toe today. Girl, shut up. Shut up. I've been told y'all they was not together. They was not together, period. Okay? Period. Just lying. You have Pepe and Iris. Pepe and Lips. Let's talk about Pepe and Lips, because this was interesting to me too. So they were asked if they were exclusive. Pepe said they exclusive, but basically they not together. And then Lips said, well, we have different ideas of what being together is. No, he said something like that, and then she backed it up. She's like, yeah, I believe that to be with someone, you should be asked to be with that person. So she basically let us know that Pepe never asked her to be his girlfriend. You know why? Because he don't want you to be his girlfriend. Girl, he out the villa. He on to the next. You're not in distress anymore, Lips. He only likes white blonde women who are in distress. You're happy now. You have fame now. He can't do nothing for you. Hello? Is the microphone on? Hello? Is the microphone on? Also, let's keep it a buck. Your mama didn't like him. Your mama didn't like him. You didn't like him. You didn't like him. The way you was crying over TJ, you know what's crazy about Lips? Lips probably ran into her husband in this experiment. I really think her and TJ could have locked in. Literally, you should have left with TJ. But no, you wanted to stay back. You want to get the money. I did see something where I think TJ showed something in his Insta stories, and it looks like him and Iris are hanging out together. Good for them. I don't give a fuck. They did ask TJ and Hannah about, the whole recoupling. I don't care about these people. Next. Hula Hoop and Chris. Andy asked them both how it felt seeing each other. And she's like, I'm fine. He was like, weird. It's weird. She weird as fuck. Weird. She's like, I'm fine. Weird. And to be honest, he didn't call her weird enough for me. Again, I don't know if they cut it out, but I really wanted Chris to talk about how she went on that podcast and said very disgusting things about him. She laughed about her trying to sexually coerce him in bed. She laughed about the harassment that she gave him in that bed. She laughed about how she treated him. She talked about his body parts and how small they were on the Call Her Daddy podcast. Like, She said so many wild things on that podcast about that man who never disrespected her, and none of that was brought up. None of that was brought up. I found that to be very, very weird and interesting and racist. Chris did, I think Andy asked about his mom and how his mother felt about how things ended up with Hotline. And he said that his mother actually is very happy with the way things ended. And I had questions about that because your mother saw how this woman talked to you, how this mother treated you. According to you and your sister, she saw everything. And remember, Chris was ready to cut. Chris came for his own sister when he went on the Nick Viles podcast. He has a second sister who went online and was like, yeah, I don't stand for none of that shit. I don't stand for none of that shit that Hazard was saying about my brother. And he was upset with his sister. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that? So, yeah, I had some questions about that. Also, do y'all not find it weird that Two Pancakes Gate never came up? He made her 2 pancakes. He made you one. He gave her flowers. He gave you none. Why didn't we talk about Two Pancakes Gate? I love the way Andy Cohen was like, and when you was on the Call Her Daddy Lady podcast, you talked about Chris having a wandering eye. No, bitch. No. Put a name to it. She dragged CHELLEY. She dragged CHELLEY through the mud in that interview because Chris would always have his eye on her, on CHELLEY instead of her. Remember, she said she would come downstairs with a sexy ass outfit and he'd be like, that's cute. CHELLEY! My Shelly amor. Why we didn't talk about that? They didn't want to bring up the fact that HUDA's real problem with CHELLEY is not bullying, because she never provided not one instance of CHELLEY bullying her. Her real problem with CHELLEY is that every man that she wanted CHELLEY outside of Jeremiah. CHELLEY kept the man in that villa. Kept the man. Didn't have to do anything. All CHELLEY had to do was exist. CHELLEY didn't have to yell. CHELLEY didn't have to scream. CHELLEY didn't have to throw no coup de cat. Li pa bay nèg yo bouboun. Li pa sous ses zozo. Li pa fè rien. Li juste existé. CHELLEY juste existé dans villa. All she did was exist. And that bothered the fuck out of Hula Hoop. Remember that first elimination. Handgun looked at Olandria. Handgun looked at CHELLEY and said, y'all need some real men. They both left with one. They both left with real men. She left with what? A man she can't legally talk about. Clark it. That was her real issue. With CHELLEY Timali Manouchka Bissante, Jean-Pierre François Louverture. C'est pour ça que raillé. That's why. C'est pour ça. Clark it. Bumbwe. Yup. She thought she was going to be the most desired this season. That's her issue. Period. I don't care how much Botox you get, Habubu. I don't care how many lip injections you get, Habubu. I don't care how much BBL and sauce you put in your ass, Habubu. You will never be a CHELLEY. You will never be an Olandria. I don't care how much black dick you suck, Habubu, you will never be. You'll never be one of us. That's it. That was her issue with the black women in the villa. That was her issue. That was her issue. Her issue with Olandria too is that while her and Olandria was close, Olandria was closer to CHELLEY. So CHELLEY had all the men's. CHELLEY had all the men's, and CHELLEY was besties with who Hula Hoop wanted to be her manny. She thought both CHELLEY and Olandria were going to mammy her, right? But CHELLEY, unlike, I think Olandria gives a lot of people, I think Olandria gives people even more grace than CHELLEY. CHELLEY gives a lot of grace, but I think Olandria gives even more grace. CHELLEY, it gets to a point. It gets to a point where she's like, yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. I'm not in the fields. Yeah, nah. I'm not in the fields, boo. So she was very jealous that CHELLEY always had a man and that CHELLEY had the friends and that CHELLEY had Olandria too. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? It's I know I got to be careful with my words. Heckler went into this villa with 0 friends. 0 friends in real life. 0 friends. Went into this villa, terrorized these people, especially the black women, especially Jeremiah, a black man, Chris, a black man. Terrorize these black people, right? And even despite all that, you hear CHELLEY and Olandria talk about, girl, like when we were leaving the villa, we were talking about taking trips together. We were talking about going to visit your daughter. We was auntie. But then you opened up your phone. You opened up your phone. Remember what she said? She said, oh, I saw things online that made me feel like I was bullied. She didn't feel she was bullied inside the villa. She got outside the villa, saw 5 million folks following her, a fan base that was activated per her racism towards these people in the villa. She loved it. She loved it. And instead of being a good friend to these 2 people, to these 2 women, she would rather have 0 friends than be a good friend. I really want y'all to clark that. The girl would rather have 0 friends than be a good friend. Insane. Insane. I already talked about her saying that she couldn't talk because Netflix. Mind you, here go Netflix. Immediately. The social team was like, girl, what? Girl, what? And not only that, y'all know, oh, y'all can't see it. Hold on. Hold on. Netflix, don't at me. We ain't got nothing to do with this. We ain't got nothing to do with this, sister. We didn't tell you nothing. We didn't tell you nothing. Don't at us. Also, y'all know my friend Ricky. She has her own podcast. Shout out to Ricky. You know, she has
pretty much take it.
And shout out to her too, because recently she was at Netflix's I think it was like a summer, like end of the summer thing. And she was there with all the folks that she be talking about on her TikTok, period. Love that for her. But let me bring this up. I want y'all to listen to this. This is Ricky. Y'all know that's my girl. Oh my God, I'm forgetting. Okay, this is Ashley. I love her too. She has a really good page.
He should have gotten some heat for it, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He was enjoying it just as much, but we're hopping.
Yeah. I know. I realized I missed one of the most important parts near the beginning, which was Huda saying she can't speak on her relationship because of Netflix. So we did, I got my little birdies. We did hear from someone at Netflix that said that's not a thing. Obviously, Huda is not under an NDA with Netflix. She can say whatever she wants. She wants to say she's marrying Louis. They see each other every day. They're in a full-blown relationship. She can say anything. And Louis obviously is under NDA, but I was told he was not told anything. He can say whatever he wants. He can say they're together. They're not telling him not to. So I don't know what happened there, but we did see her post on her story, her TikTok story, with a different story now, saying I didn't want to have to talk about my relationship.
So you lied.
Yeah.
So you lied on TV is what you're saying. So that is what that was the exclusive tea, was that Ashley's little birdie told her that Huda wasn't under any NDA and was never told that she can't speak on her relationship. And now she knows that people are going to expose her for that, or that there are people that can expose her for that. And now she's posting things on her social media. This is what she posted. And now,
so we already talked about that, but they confirmed that. Also, let's talk about Nick Olandria for a moment. So they did talk to Nick Olandria, and they asked Nick and Olandria about their relationship status. And I like what Nick said. Nick said that there's a lot of pressure, but they're taking their time. They're going on trips. They're doing all the crazy things that she wants to do. And he made sure to say, like, anything she wants to do, we're going to do that. Clock it. Period. This is Nick Olandria. Es que no la. This is a Nick Olandria household. Okay. I love the way he stands 10 toes behind her and lets her know whatever she want to do, they're going to do it. Point blank, period. I love the fact that she was asked about like the non-believers. And she was like, listen, I call the non-believers my second fan base, period. And he was like, they hate us because they ain't us, period. Hop the horn on them. It gave, like, I honestly feel like Nick and Olandria gave Nene. And I feel like if they didn't edit it down so much and didn't allow us to see Nick really standing behind her, it would have gave even more like Nene and Greg from back in the day on Real Housewives. Honk the horn on them, Greg. Okay. Now they did ask about Sierra, and honestly, Nick said something that he said time and time again, that he would have been willing to speak with her at the very least. At least like to check on her and see how she's doing, because obviously how she left was, it was sad. But he said that her posts were really, really shady. I saw some people trying to drag him for that. I'm just like, okay, y'all doing too much. Now I want to ask y'all a question. Two questions. Do y'all think Sierra should have been at the reunion? Do y'all think Sierra should have been at the reunion? Now, I know what she did. I know she said that C word. I know it. Okay, y'all saying, okay, yes. Messy. No. I fear Nick has raised a demand for white boys, but the supply is compromised, to say the least. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Hell nah. No, she's 3 kinds of crazy. No, yes. Okay, so it's kind of down the middle. I'm conflicted. I kind of feel like if we're talking about somebody, I feel like they should be there. That's just my personal opinion. If we're talking about somebody, I feel like they should be there. Also, I feel like that would have been a great moment for her to take accountability again for the world to see. Because there's a lot of people who won't see her TikTok, who won't see her Instagram. I think it would have been a good platform for her to take accountability again and to explain that this was something she had already apologized for. That's my personal opinion. Do I feel like there would have ever been something between Ciara and Nick post the villa? No. I think a lot of people just don't get it. There was never going to be a Nick and Ciara post this villa. Nick is not stupid. The girl was kicked out for racism. Now, I have my opinions, and I've shared them. But at the end of the day, she used what was understood to be a slur to the Asian community. Do y'all think Nicolas was going to ruin his brand for that? Are we not paying attention? What nobody was going to risk their brand for that. So no. Okay, next question. So when Andy had said to Olandria, was it worth the wait? This one, I need more drink. I need when Andy said, was it worth the wait? And Olandria's like, what? And then he said, was the journey worth it? Or something like that. And then she looked to Nick, and Nick was like, what? And she was like, what? Huh? What? And he said, they don't call me Big Belgium for nothing. Ça vle di, Timon. Ça vle di. They don't call me Big Belgium for nothing. Ça vle di, Timon. Ça vle di. Et wow. Est-ce que m'pa comprendre? M'pa comprendre. M'pa comprendre non, Timon. Expliquez-moi tant nous. What that mean? What that mean? Huh? What that mean? Andy Cohen is messy as hell. he's my type of messy though. Yeah, so y'all hunch it. See me, I wouldn't be able to. I'm like, so y'all hunch yet? Inappropriate. Andy Cohen gonna ask the question, okay? But you know, Olandria did not really. She kind of answered, but didn't. But Nick said, they don't call me Big Belgium for nothing. That let me know he got big Zozo energy. He said, listen, m'ben moun dalan ba zonzo. M'ben moun dalan ba zozo. M'plen moun dal. M'plen moun dal an ba zozo. They don't call me Frico Nico for nothing. They don't call me BB for nothing. Big Belgium. They don't call me that for nothing. Okay? He let us know. Did she say yes? She did say yes, right? Okay, I couldn't remember if she did say yes. I said, okay, what's that? What's going on? They doing the sex? Okay. Taylor and Clark come in. Ace and Shelly come in too. You know, they talked about the curse of going exclusive, and Shelly and Ace said that they felt like the voters this year missed the plot. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. It was a favoritism. It was a favoritism contest. It wasn't about, you know, people finding love. And it's true. And anybody that I see arguing that, you're dumb. There's no other way to, you're dumb. Amaya and Brian won. Amaya, who had no connections with anybody, including Brian. I said that several times. Brian never made any efforts towards Amaya. And even post Villa, when he was asked, what have you done for Amaya? I got her some truffle pasta. Mind you, this is the woman who put $50,000 in your pocket. I don't care that he's the one who picked the envelope. She put that money in his pocket. America wanted her to win. And all she has to show for it is truffle pasta. I saw some people, oh, Ace and Shay, they fool themselves. No, they're correct. They're correct. Y'all picked two people who had no connection. Oh, but he stood up for her. The bar is so low. The bar is so low. If I'm in a room and it's another Haitian woman like being talked down to, I'm gonna do the same thing. Hey, myself, time out. That's the least you could do. That's why y'all gave him the $50,000. Hey, Clark gave us nothing this reunion. Shout out to my queen of nothingery. If that's a word. Clark is the queen of nothingery. She gave us nothing, period. She came through, looked like a housewife, looked like she was going through to a Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. She could have fit right on in with the girls this season. I think the girls this season wore gold. Her dress was like I think it was like a goldish brownish color. She could have fit right on in. Gave us nothing. You know, I went down to Oklahoma and, you know, I rode horses with no saddle. Girl, please. I love me some Clark. Clark did. Okay, what was next? That whole moment of Two Dreads apologizing to Olandria, that could have been a text. That could have been an email. It just was whack to me. You still my dog? Sir, this is not, we are not at the veterinarian. She not trying to be your dog. She was never your dog. It was not an apology. The way after he said what he said, everybody was just like,
Do we clap? Do we clap?
that should tell you how flat the apology, like, it's just, here's my thing with apologies, right? When you're apologizing to somebody, you have to be Pacific. Two Dreads, you wasted her time. And like she said, I had no idea he was not attracted to me until I got out of the villa. Remember that episode when he told Ace the attraction isn't there, and Ace was like, yo, you stupid as fuck. She over there making you grits. Woke up this morning with a smile on her face. Made you some breakfast toast, 2 scrambled eggs. Grits. Olandria was making grits. And while she was making the grits, Two Dreads was telling Ace how unattractive she is. Ace was like, you stupid. Are you
Stop.
like, are you okay?
Stop.
That was literally Ace. Like, is this to not be Pacific about that, about how basically you slept in bed with her, you cuddled her, you were kissing her, you were doing all the things, you were breadcrumbing her when Jalen came in. When Jalen came in, you stepped up and were breadcrumbing her to the point where she let Jalen go. And the fact that people still don't understand her frustration with that is mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling to me. So yeah, that wasn't an apology. It was stupid. Ariana brought up the whole CHELLEY and Ace stuff, the rumors of them scamming. I just thought, like, by this time, we've already talked about this so many times, I didn't care to hear it. There were people who said, oh, but he left a comment back in 2022 on a post from 2022. And I thought that was stupid too, because all you got to do is click on the post and see the comment, and you'll see how many weeks back he left it. It's men do this all the time. They find your Instagram, they scroll all the way back. And then they eventually, I think they explained that too. So I was like, baby, it's please. They did talk about being exclusive, but not being official. I had my feelings on that. I was like, what's going on? Because some of y'all, if y'all watch my reviews, I wasn't always supportive of the way Ace moved with Shelly. But I do agree with him when he says their journey was like, it was an ups and downs. Like they really went through the journey. All right. But when he said, you know, she's going to be my first girlfriend ever, and I want her to be my last, I was like, hold on. Those are very, very heavy words. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for saying this. Taylor spoke to Olandria like she was a guy. Exactly. You know why? Because she's not his type. That's how you speak to women who you're not attracted to. That's how you speak to women who and listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I do feel that he likes women of a lighter hue. Because he pulled the same thing with Coco. A bait and switch on Coco. Okay. Okay, but yeah, what do y'all think about Ace saying he wants Shelly to be his last? That's very heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy. I wish them the best on that. I'm rooting for it. I wish him the best on that. I do think that what they have is very genuine. So I wish him the best on that. And I do think that Ace is very mature for his age. I think he's 22 or 23. Very mature for his age. So I think Shelly's in good hands like Allstate. Period. Okay, what was next? Zach came in. He came in on, I don't care. Let's talk about Coco. You know, on last night's live, I gave Coco a lot of grace. I was like, you know what? We should give Coco some grace. And then I watched this reunion. My thing with Coco is this, right? You're phony. You're fake. You corny. And I'm going to tell you why you're phony and fake and corny, right? You said Olandria was like, my man, right? But you also said she was standoffish. And Olandria brought up a good point. She said, so I was standoffish. If I was so standoffish to you, which I was, that's the thing I do like about Olandria. I like many things about Olandria. But my favorite thing about Olandria is that she's honest. She's very, very honest. She said, yeah, I was standoffish. I had just got eliminated. Just got dumped off the island. Didn't have no real connections in Casa Amor. Surprise recoupling with my homegirl's man. Come back to the villa. My man is still my man, but he's not really my man because he's your man now and he's about to be Clark's man. I didn't want to be fake. That's real. She said I was nice, but I wasn't going to be fake and be all up in y'all faces. Like, I was upset. I was going through my own shit. And I feel like that's very important because a lot of times, like, you will think that somebody don't fuck with you or somebody's being mean to you. And it's not even that. That person's in their own world dealing with their own shit. They're not mean. They're not being mean to you. They're going through their own shit. That's what I like about Olandria. Very honest. When it comes to you, Coco, you're a liar. You're fake, you phony, you corny. Because then you was like, oh yeah, you know, you was saying my man. And I thought that shit was cute as shit. No, you didn't. You didn't think it was cute as shit. You didn't. You thought Olandria was corny. That's the thing. Your corny ass thought Olandria was corny. And then it was Olandria saying, Jaden, did I say my man? Okay. Vanna, did I say my man? No. Oh, like she named the girls one by one and said, did you ever hear me say my man? Did you ever hear it? Did you ever hear it? Did you ever hear it? And one by one, no. And then Coco doubled down and said, but you did say my man. Which one is it? Everybody else is saying she didn't say it. The entire class is saying no. Bangs was acting like she was on Love and Hip Hop. Not Bangs. Coco Bangs was. Thank you so much for the super chat. She was. It was giving like Zeus. It was giving like Zeus because then she even cut off Andy. Andy was like, well, wait, no. Let me talk. Coco Bangs got way too much time for me. Way too much time for me. And then here's the thing I hate too, right? Oh, but Olandria, I DM'd you. She said, yeah, and I wasn't fucking with it. And you see Nick smiling. Nick love that little feisty shit. He love that. Nick love mess. The same way when you look at that live and you hear Coco saying, hey, Olandria, can we talk? She says, I'm cool. Or I think JD says, hey, Coco wants to talk to you. She says, I'm cool. Nick smiled from ear to ear. He loved that shit. Nick like mess. Nick is me. Nick like mess. But Coco Bangs said, oh, but I DM'd you. And she said, I saw it and I wasn't fucking with it. Don't talk to me in private. You said what you said in public. Bitch, say the fuck what you said in public again. Apologize to me in public. Oh, I hate that it was taken out of context. I'm Team Chocolate Girls. And then you got Shelly coming in. Actually, you're not Team Chocolate Girls because the thing was, one thing about Shelly, Shelly has so much patience. I really want to, that's a trait I want to have. Shelly has so much composure, patience, and poise. Because even through the bullshit, she was like, wait a minute, no. The thing was, not only did you say what you said on the podcast, but then you came online and you liked shady comments about about Olandria and I. You reposted shady posts about her and I, which she did. I've already showed that in previous lives. Okay. All the girls agreed with Olandria, including Clark. Including Clark. The girl who she was neck and neck with 2 dreads. Even Clark said she never had that energy. She never said those things. Mind you, Coconut is still liking shady comments right now. I know she is. She's corny. And it's crazy. You're so beautiful. Coco, you're drop dead gorgeous. But Coco Bangs, you is corny as fuck. That shit was corny. It was corny. And another thing I don't like. What's going on? on. What? Let me find out. Let me find out. Coco Bangs got voodoo. Let me find out. Anyway, that shit was corny. Okay, that shit was corny. What you did was fucking corny. Point period. You were corny, sister. The explanations that you gave did not give. It gave pretty much like.
Stop. You said you had another shot.
The just the excuses. It just wasn't there. It didn't give. Okay, let's continue. What was next after that? Zach and Amaya. Zach, Amaya, Brian. You know, Zach, Amaya trying to clark that Zach was being performative was quite interesting to me, because you were calling Zach performative. Meanwhile, you're sitting next to Brian, with whom you are currently performing. It just didn't make sense to me. Can you see me? Austin on a podcast saying Amaya cussed him out and Zach out too. Let me know if y'all can see me. Hold on. Is it clear? Because my somebody said ITV got you, Jesse, and sure did. Thank you so much, Kylie. Is it clear now? Okay, perfect. Thank you, because I do want to play that clip. Hold on. For folks who didn't see it. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. And before I play this, you know what? Let me play the clip. Let me just play the clip. Hold on. Okay.
One, I feel like it was a pretty big deflection on Ace's part. I mean, you know, I called out that, and he kind of deflected it onto Amaya. They didn't really show Amaya, like, anytime I was making a comment, Amaya would be like, "You fucking pussy ass bitch. Shut the fuck up, you fucking pussy." And so, like, eventually I was like, they didn't show any of that. Then so I'm like, holy shit, Amaya, butt out, please. And then they didn't show any of that, and it made me look like a dick. And then the other Zach, they didn't show her saying stuff to him too, but they showed him being a dick. And so, like, we just looked like assholes. And yeah, so like that was the whole, I mean, I feel like, you know, kind of Ace deflecting that into a different.
All right, I know my mic went out. I do see that my mic is just, I don't know what happened. Okay, there it is. Let me know if you guys can hear me better now. First and foremost, I want to say this about Austin. I don't think that this man knew he was at reunion. Like, the way they kept asking this man questions, I was like, can we please stop asking him shit? Austin, and what do you think about what? I wasn't even here. But anyway, let me say this, right? I'm not an Austin fan, but if you watched my reviews, I always said the fact that all of the men kept complaining about Amaya's behavior tells me something. They're not lying. Now, my problem with Austin, Zach, was the fact that when it was time to couple up with Amaya for their benefit, they did so. It doesn't negate her behavior, but at the same time, if her behavior was so bad, why did y'all keep coupling up with her? Why? You're on a show, you're trying to get money. You're on a show, you're trying to get money. But also, what he just said, I 100% believe it. Zach called Amaya out several times on her behavior. Y'all didn't like him for it. I wasn't y'all. I always was a Mr. Thailand stan. There were some times that I didn't like how he did it, but I always was supportive of Mr. Thailand because he was always honest with her. He was always honest with her. And so, yeah. Also, shout out to those of us who told y'all that Amaya and Huda were the same person, just different font. I see people now saying that, and it's like, yeah, I've been saying that. Blue been saying it. Other Black women's during Black Women's Month on YouTube been saying it. We've been saying that. We've been told y'all. We told y'all. But y'all love the, I'm not a perfect. I never said I was perfect. Y'all loved the infantilization of Amaya. Y'all love that. Y'all love that. Opportunity, y'all love that. Y'all love that so much that you look past her bad behavior. She was Huda, number 2. Do y'all remember when she crashed out on CHELLEY over Ace? Something that had nothing to do with CHELLEY, made CHELLEY cry? Do y'all remember when her and Ace were arguing on the boardwalk? The way she wouldn't let Ace get a word in and that man kept his composure? And she literally was in his face like, but you know, Latin women can be feisty. Let that have been a Black woman. We never saw that from CHELLEY or Olandria. Never saw CHELLEY or Olandria talking to a man like that. And please don't bring up the stand on business challenge, because by that point, 2 dreads deserve that. Sorry. Not sorry. Clark it. Okay. What else? Where was I before I got to this? So it was Zach. Hold on. But anyway, Zach was asked, if he changed his approach with Amaya when he found out that she was America's fave, and she's like, yeah, I did feel like it was performative, says the performer. They talked about the stand on business challenge and the fact that nobody owned up to the card that was written for Pepe. And they also showed how Amaya was like, yeah, you know, whoever did that, they're pussy. The fact that they don't want to come forward and say what they said, they're pussy. And we saw Hydroxycut go to Chris and self-victimize. Oh, they're basically calling me a pussy. Mind you, they didn't know it was you. You never stood on it, right? It was so funny to me watching Grayson. Well, now that I see it, it's okay. It's okay. I love her. It's okay. That shit was cruel. Like, it was cruel what she wrote. It was cruel. That card was cruel, what she did to you. But anyway, then we talked about, I believe, what else? We talked a little bit about Pepe and Hannah. I don't care. We know Pepe don't give a fuck about Hannah, don't give a fuck about Lips, don't give a fuck about Grayson. He don't care. He was trying to get to the end too. Next. Let me see. They asked Ace how he felt about Chris coupling up with, I don't give a fuck about that. Okay. Let's talk about I think this was the first big moment of the reunion, right? So it was Andy bringing up the conversation that resulted in, hold on. I don't think I can play it. I'm not even going to try to play it because I don't want to get copyright. But they brought up the conversation between Hazard and Shelley that resulted in Chris coming into the villa. I want to get y'all thoughts on that. I want to get y'all thoughts on that. Yeah, paper definitely liked Hannah more. It was clear. Habitual is the biggest racist and takes no responsibility for anything she does. Yeah. Yeah, we've had that established. But Shelley said it was multiple conversations and did. And even when she said that, remember when she said that, Hallucination confirmed that. She confirmed it was multiple conversations. Here's my thing with the feedback I've seen from that conversation. I've seen people say, y'all owe Hippopotamus an apology. No, we don't. No, we don't. You know how I be saying people are dumb and y'all be thinking I be mean? It's true. People are fucking dumb. They're fucking dumb. Shelley, if you watch the clip and you watch how Shelley described the conversation, Shelley didn't lie. She didn't lie. She didn't lie. And to my surprise, Hippopotamus didn't lie either. The difference between their account of it is that Shelley stressed how she kept saying, it's for you, it's for you. And when you watch the conversation, when they played the conversation, immediately when she sits Shelley down, immediately it's, I love you, you know I love you, you know I love you, I love you, I love you. Can we talk about how manipulative that is? And can we talk about the fact that she doesn't love bomb just her men in her life? She love bombs her friends. Or she love bombed these women that were in the villa. She loved bomb them into them being girls, and them behaving the way she wanted them to behave, especially when it came to Jeremiah. And I feel like that was something too that was not addressed at this reunion. I don't know if they cut that out, but I think that was a very important conversation, and it laid down the groundwork for why Shelley felt the way she did. She immediately sits her down, right? And she says, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you, girl. You know I love you, right? So I have this bright idea. I know that he really likes you. And he's expressed to me that he really wants you. So I know that you're his priority, but I like him too. So I figured I can bring him back for you. But I could also explore that. But it's for you because I love you. So I'm doing this for you. And as she's saying that, you see Shelley's face like, Shelley was in shock. Shelley didn't like, you could tell Shelley was uncomfortable. And I think that what Shelley didn't do a good job of doing was explaining how manipulative those conversations were. How she felt that she just had to oblige that, especially given the way Habitual behaved in the villa, that she just wanted peace. And here's the thing too, right? You have to think about it. So Hydroxycut brings Chris in, right? For Shelley. But she wants to explore him too, right? So to everybody, Habanera's only connection right now is Chris. So when we get to the heart rate challenge, why are you licking Ace's genitals and throwing your butt all in his mouth, like in his face? Why are you doing that? Your connection is with Chris. You already did enough. It's like what Shelley said, heart rate was up. What'd you want him to do, die? Heart rate was up. heart rate was up. During that heart rate challenge, Helium was showing Shelly that she wanted Ace too. Okay? That's Shelly's problem. And I'm not understanding why y'all don't understand that. Another thing is a lot of people say, oh, well, Shelly had all that energy for hallucination, but not for Ace. I watched the show. I don't know if y'all watched the show, but I watched it. Her and Ace got in an argument about that. Because then Ace brought up Chris, throwing her legs up. The difference is she was still exploring Chris. That's the difference. Ace had been exploring from sun up to sundown since day one. And still hadn't made things exclusive, still hadn't closed off things. So she was like, well, I'm still going to explore until you figure whatever the fuck you got going on, I'm still going to do this. That was their understanding. It was never anybody's understanding that Hula Hoop was trying to explore Ace too. That's the problem. That's the problem. Also, like I said, they did get into an argument, but also, like you heard Jeremiah in the clip before, Jeremiah said on TikTok, they had a whole conversation about Ace's part in that, and that was edited out. Why did Love Island edit that out? Because they want to make it seem like Shelly's only issue was with Halulu and not with her man. That was intentional. That was intentional. The same way they didn't talk about two pancakes so that they can make it clear that no, it was Halulu who had a real deep issue with Shelly the entire time because Ace wanted her, Chris wanted her, Charlie wanted her, Austin wanted her. Everybody wanted her. That was very intentional for them to cut that out. They wanted the viewers to see Shelly as she only got all this heat for Halulu, and that's not the case. That's not the case. That's not the case. Very dangerous for them to do that, in my opinion, and very racist. It was Zach falling asleep for me. Also, it was Shelly saying, listen, like, you added so much fuel to so many fires, playing into mean girl narratives when it came to me. And it was, again, Shelly, you are a good woman. Because when Hurdle made that comment, well, you seem to be very happy with what you have outside the villa. You should focus on that. And Shelly was like, yeah, I am focused on that, but I'm still going to get in that ass. I'm still going to get in your ass for the fact that you fed into negative narratives when it came to us, when it came to me, when that just wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. You should focus on that. No, bitch, we at the fucking reunion. We're going to focus on everything tonight. Period. Period. What was next? They had Adriana and Brian talk about the whole boring thing, and I think Adriana did a good job of standing on business when it came to that. Another thing, I don't want to see these white people say standing on business no more. And you stood on business. I hate that. Oh my God, like we can't have nothing. Black people cannot have nothing. Black Americans specifically cannot have nothing. That is Black American vernacular. And now you have these white people. Yeah, and tonight we're gonna stand on business. What? Oh, thank you so much, Taylor. Ace was trying to emotionally manipulate Shelly too. Ace was doing what he wanted, but got annoyed when Shelly wanted to explore too. He wants to have control. When we were reviewing those episodes, I said the same thing too. I felt like Ace was trying to get Shelly to chase him, and it just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. I think in life outside the villa, I think that Ace was used to that, and then he met his match. Shelly Haitian, she not chasing no. Well, let me not say that because a lot of pick-me's in the Haitian community. But I will say this: Haitian women are brought up to not do that. You don't chase no man. That man got to come get you. He got to come get you. He thought he was gonna get her to chase him. Never, never. Never. You made me a pancake. Chris made me too. And he about to write me a song. What you about to do? What you about to do? Another thing too, Shelly never got to go on a date. That was intentional too. Those producers wanted Shelly to feel hated in that villa. They wanted Shelly to feel hated by America and them. Thank you so much, Ganika. Hey, Jesse, sending love from London. You look stunning. Thank you so much. They wanted Shelly to feel hated from every angle. She and Ace never got a date. But thank goodness Ace always planned dates for her. That's the thing. I didn't like how Ace always behaved or his strategy, but we have to give it up to him to the fact that he did work for Shelly. He did work for Shelly. They talked about Charlie's dumping. I don't give a fuck. But I do feel like what I did care about was when he brought up the fact that Amaya helped get him dumped too. And I remember that shit just being so weird. Her dumping him and then how she was hysterical afterwards. Let me ask y'all something too. And this is was Amaya on something during the reunion? Was Amaya on something during the reunion? They showed the deliberation for Hannah's dumping. You know, Hannah, Charlie, and Jeremiah's dumpings were a lot. And they finally showed the deliberation for Hannah's dumping. And I'm really happy that they showed that because it showed that basically all the girlies felt closer to Amaya. I said that when I reviewed it. It was really nothing against Hannah, really, truly. They just felt closer to Amaya. But then I'm so appreciative that they showed the results for her dumping and Jeremiah's dumping. So even if they didn't vote Jeremiah or Hannah off, America was going to do it anyway. And that made me question a lot of things. Not necessarily for Hannah. I think America saw how Hannah moved and how she went from Charlie and crying over Charlie's picture to spit shining Pepe and giving him the guac 3000 the next night. America was like, no, this bitch got to go. Okay. This bitch got to fucking go. America was like, yeah, nah. Hell nah. But I just had questions about Jeremiah. I kind of didn't understand why America wanted Jeremiah gone. I don't know. I kind of didn't understand that one. Y'all wanted Jeremiah gone and not Austin? Do you know how long we were waiting for Austin to go fucking home? Was it because of HUDA? Was it because of hydraulics? I don't know. Producers did not expect the most desired woman of the season to be Black, and so in return, they punished her for it. Thank you, Kai. Yep. Thank you so much. Hannah crying and all that. Somebody on Thread said Hannah is actually who y'all thought Amaya was. Clark it. They ate with that comment. Bella spoke for a minute. Don't care. I don't give a fuck. Jeremiah came out. And to be honest, I'm just very disappointed. Very disappointed. very disappointed. The whole love bombing thing between him and Hydrogen, it's like, please remember, if you've been watching from that second episode, was it the second episode or the first episode where she told Jeremiah, I love you? What did I tell y'all? I even did an episode where I broke down all her actions and how by definition she was a love bomber. I even broke it down. Jeremiah did not love bomb that girl. Did he like her a lot? Yes. Yes. Sadness fans voted him out. Oh, you're right. Thank you so much, Camille. You're right. You're right. Her fans definitely voted him out. Definitely voted him out. I did. She love bombed him. She love bombed the girls. Okay. And it was her saying, oh, well, sometimes you can love bomb somebody unintentionally. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's not how that works. Love bombing is a manipulative tactic. And she used that from day one with everybody in that villa. Day one, when she started crying because Olandria was like, oh, we ain't doing that right now. Crying and went to CHELLEY and was like, oh, why would she do that to me? Why would she say that? Immediately, white woman tears. Manipulator. I like that he brought up some of the manipulative tactics that Harambe said or used. When he said that she was using Taylor to manipulate him, he didn't use the right words in my opinion, but when I was reviewing it, I said that. When she said things like, oh, you're gonna let another man make me a pancake, you're not a real man. Taylor's doing it. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Taylor. And you know what's so crazy? Taylor has said this on podcast, and I feel like he kind of said it here, how he would tell her, I'm going to send your ass home. Nick was constantly sending her ass home every chance he got. Those were never her bullies. They were never her bullies. Those were never Hysterical's bullies. But the two Black women were. No smoke for them. I like that Charlie was like, yo, I don't know how Jeremiah lasted that long. I feel like a lot was cut out. The fact that nobody talked about the way she emotionally abused him, verbally abused him, called him a bitch, called him a pussat, like, brother, nobody brought that up. Was that just edited out? The fact that we didn't talk about that during this reunion, had the shoe been on the other foot and Jeremiah talked to that lady like that, brother, the hard R at the end. Remember, she called Chris brother too. She never used that word for Nick, never used that word for Pepe. She only used that word for the Black man. We didn't talk about the microaggressions in her actions. Like, there needs, like, I like Andy Cohen. I don't know if maybe he was instructed to stay away from that, because I feel like when it comes to Real Housewives, when there's racism being talked about, he will discuss it. I don't know why he didn't discuss it at this reunion. Something tells me he was instructed not to do that, because ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way hierarchy was not asked about that. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. what else? Andy brought up Taylor saying that Jeremiah was possessive with Andreina. And they asked Andreina about it. And she's like, well, I don't feel like that's a question for me. And Taylor did bring up that Jeremiah would tell them things like, hey, I'm going to talk to Andreina all day, so y'all can't talk to her. I wasn't aware of that. What do y'all think about that? What did y'all think about that? Let me see some of the comments. Yeah, it would have went. Yeah. Ariana didn't talk about race well, we know why she didn't. It's not that deep. It's just jokes. I really don't care. It was a joke. People can't have a joke and feeling. I just feel like when you hear Taylor talking about that, and also when you've heard Taylor on podcasts talking about that and saying actually he was the one who wanted Jeremiah out, but yet Ace still is painted as a villain for that, I have a problem with that. And even later on, we talk about the whole ringleader thing. And I'm glad Ace said this because Jeremiah was like, yeah, well, you was leading the men and you was, and Ace is like, Jeremiah, you are a grown-ass man. A grown-ass man. Why am I leading you to anything? Clark it. Ace did still want him out. He did, but it's like, still, it wasn't all him. Let me see. They showed, I think that they showed the deliberation too, right? Let me see. Taylor then said Jeremiah would say, I'm gonna talk to Anthony. So the guys were right. Wait. The other. Ace brought up how Austin was part of voting Jeremiah off. And what did Austin do? Start pussyfooting. Austin has had so much to say about Ace, especially outside the villa and in his confessionals. But did y'all notice how every time Ace came for him, he digressed? Why are you so scared? That's why Ace the Menace, he'll always have a fan in me. You got a fan in me. Every time Ace put him up against the wall, Austin crumbled. Like a little bitch. Like a bitch. Oh, it was jokes. And Ace was like, but people went home based on jokes. Your friend, your bestie went home based on a joke. But you was just joking. Ace ate his ass up left and right. Then Nick came through and he talked about the dumping too. And he says that it was never shown I guess like it was never shown how he actually was pulling for Jeremiah in their deliberation. And they did show that. And so, he was able to address that and they were able to move on for that. Andy brings up the whole Ace being a ringleader and mentions his diss track. I didn't like that. Y'all think the guys were jealous of Jeremiah? Neko says they were jealous of Jeremiah. Let me know what y'all think. Thank you so much, others. Honestly, I don't think Ace was a ringleader. The rest of the guys were passive and complacent. Like he said, like all of them said, they've all, like Taylor and Nick have talked about it in podcasts and said he wasn't a ringleader. He wasn't. Oh, y'all saying yes. Yes. Oh, damn. Yes. Absolutely. Yes, they were jealous. Jeremiah was def competition. I think he was competition. I don't think they were jealous of Jeremiah, but I do think that he was their competition, of course. When Andreina came into the villa, remember when Andreina came into the villa and the next morning her and Jeremiah were walking around the villa? Bitch. the competition was stiff, ho. The competition was stiff, ho. And to be honest, when Jeremiah and Andreina wasn't a thing anymore because Jeremiah left, I felt like there was an awkwardness moving forward with like the couples. I was like, yeah, no, Jeremiah and Andreina did deserve to still be there, in my opinion, at least to be there longer. Because then you had Andreina with Brian, and it was just like, you could tell my sister was just trying to survive. She was trying to stay alive, child. She was just trying to stay alive. Nia, thank you so much. Taylor had a problem with how Jeremiah explored others and locked in quickly, but he was okay. But he was with Ola for weeks with no thank you. Two Dreads was a hypocrite. He was a hypocrite. He even said, I think it was on the Keke Palmer podcast, that production had to force him to explore in Casa. But you vote out Jeremiah, who was on his third woman, who was exploring. Okay. Thank you for clocking that. Yeah. When Andy said that Ace had a diss track, I thought that was very microaggressive, in my opinion. So y'all might think I'm doing too much, but I thought it was very microaggressive. I heard that song. There was no disses. There was no disses. He was just chronicalizing his experience in the villa. He was talking about his height, talking about all the shit that people were talking. He never dissed anybody. Microaggressive. And I'm so happy that Ace clocked that immediately. I didn't diss anybody. I would have had to say, so what was the diss? Tell me one diss. Tell me one diss. He didn't diss anybody. He did also bring up the whole ringleader thing. And Ace said, I was just vocal. I was just vocal. And I think that's when Jeremiah came in, like, but you were the ringleader. You were ringleader. And Ace was like, how? Y'all are grown-ass men. You're grown-ass men. Y'all got all this shit to say about me and my height. You let my small ass lead y'all? He ate. He said, how you gonna let another man lead you? Woo. Eight. And then I think Ace asked Austin, yeah, so what was all that little ringleader shit that you had to say? And Austin was like, I don't remember saying, yeah, you did. You did. You did. And Austin was pussyfooting again. Soft. Soft asshole. Soft asshole. Soft asshole. Okay. What else? Oh, another moment. Another big moment for me that cemented that Amaya is the very odd individual that she called Zach was when Ace mentioned her on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And she made that video. And before Ace could even say it, her response, the vitriol that was on her face. Do y'all remember like just her reaction? Like, well, I talked to you. Nah, bitch. Nah, bitch. Because like he said, no, you did it publicly. You did it publicly. You tried to clean things up behind the scenes. And she was like, I didn't know that Alex Cooper was going to post that. This was y'all's winner, though. Two locks. Tulak Shakur was the real male villain and got no heat from the cast. Ace just spoke his mind. No, that ass. Thank you so much. Tulak Shakur is. We have no behavior over here. I didn't know. Amaya saying that she didn't know that Alex Cooper was going to post that video. It's a fucking podcast. You goofy ass bitch. Are you okay? It's a podcast. You're shooting stuff so it gets posted. And you know what's even more goofier about Pineapple is the fact that when she got there, Alex Cooper had literally clothing that had papayas on it. Now, I don't know if she started selling it, but I thought that that was very fucking weird. Branded herself the way Amaya should have. So weird. So fucking weird. But anyway, you happily made fun of his height. And like he said, but you be bringing up bullying in the villa. You were bringing up how people would talk about you, talk to you. And then you got out of the villa and you did that to me. Mind you, I apologized to you. We made peace and we saw that. And actually, from what I've heard is that even aside from the 2 times that we saw her and Ace make up, they had other conversations where it showed them reaching resolutions, but that was never shown because Ace was depicted as a villain. Ace was depicted as a mini Napoleon, basically. They wanted you to see him as a small, angry, loud black man. Mind you, he was none of those things ever. Ever. Wasn't mean to anyone, just was always honest and spoke his mind and made his boundaries very clear. I didn't know she was going to record. I was trying to get my team to take it down. She's not taking that shit down, bitch. First and foremost, when you do those podcasts, especially at that level, you sign waivers. Everything you do here, you're giving us permission to use at our discretion. Period. You're not going on Alex Cooper podcast and then leaving and saying, can you please not put that up? No, she's keeping that. That's why she kept hula hoop laughing at sexually harassing someone. And she laughed at it too. But they ain't get no heat though. But I got lied on. Next. Next. Let's talk about Hurricane. So Andy brings up Hurricane. They play a montage of her in the house. And she thought it was funny. She was very entertained by herself. Thought everything was funny. Her being abusive, her being a bully. The actual bully thought that the bullying that she did was funny. And Andy Cohen clocked that. And she's like, oh yeah, I've grown so much since then. And he was like, oh, so 3 weeks out, you did so much self-reflection that you're a whole different person now? Clocked it. Clocked her bad. Oh my God, that was so good. Clocked her bad. Mind you, you're a whole different person, but you're laughing at those actions. You're on here pathologically lying still. But you know what? The thing is, she came out that villa. She saw her fan base saying things like, oh, she had growth. So she's using that verbiage. He brought up the fact that she said in interviews that she felt bullied. And I love that he said, as someone who watched the show, as a viewer, it was hard for me to see that, to see where you were bullied. It was hard for me to see where you were bullied. It was hard for me to see where you were bullied. This is you and your bullies. This is you and your bullies. This is you and your bullies. Post the villa. That's her and her bullies. That's her and her bullies. Side note, Amaya agreeing with hydroxycut. I think even when I think she said that. Here's the thing. When Andy asked her, like, you know, about the bullying, she said, well, when I left the villa and I saw the clips online, there were clips that made me feel like I was bullied. So when she was in the villa where she was bullying people, she didn't feel bullied. But when she got outside and she saw 5 million people making edits, supporting her being a bully to 2 Black women, she loved it. She loved it. She loved it. And so she hopped on that. She hopped on that. And the example that she used was that scene where all the girlies were talking about her post the morning after she called Jeremiah all those terrible names. I even think, was it the morning after that or even after the time when he came back with Iris? I can't remember. But it was after she literally said the most heinous things to this man. And you got Amaya saying, yeah, that was mean. Amaya, who we just heard Austin saying that they cut out all the clips of her talking to Zach in a harmful way, talking to him in very harmful ways. And now that explains why he had a total 180 with her. Because remember, I used to mention that. I was like, damn, they kissed when she came in and all of a sudden Austin didn't like her anymore. Now I understand, because she was talking to him crazy. They never showed that. So of course she's supportive. Of course she's supportive of Hyography doing that to other people. She's supportive of that. She's supportive of that. What else was said? Hold on. I honestly, and this is not Shelly's fault. I understand why she did it. But I hate that Shelly apologized. Because, bitch, what the fuck did you do? Was I the only one who was mad about that? What did you do that was wrong? I was so confused. Shelly brought up how they were in the villa. They were close in the villa. Post the villa, they were still close. So these girls gave her so much grace. They were talking about taking trips together, about going to visit her daughter. But yet Shelly still apologized. I hated that. She apologized for a clip where they were talking about, yeah, we can't take this anymore. We can't take this anymore. She can't talk to people like that anymore. I was pissed too. Hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I get why she did it, but I hated that. And then we learn that Olandria, Shelly, and I believe it was Nick. I think Ace was over it. I think Ace was not really hanging out with them as consistently like that. I don't think Ace was hanging around Hula Hoop at all. So I think it was Shelly, Olandria, and Nick who had several conversations. One in the villa where they were for a week out. One in the airport, and there was another conversation. And Olandria they asked her, and then Olandria followed up and asked her again. I think Olandria in total asked her 3 times to make a post telling her fan base to stop the racism. Remember when Hyography's fan base literally hijacked Olandria's TikTok and started posting racist content on Olandria's TikTok and then posted the George Floyd meme. And for Hydroxycut to act like she didn't see that, mind you, you have Olandria who says, I showed it to you, I talked to you about it. But then also you have her saying, oh, I saw all the hate on my For You page. So you saw it. You saw all of it. You saw it. And instead of being a good friend to your friends, you chose to feed into that because you loved it. She loved it. She loved it. She loved it. And I've seen people say, oh, well, when have Olandria and CHELLEY ever spoken up for her? I'm so glad somebody brought this up. I'm so glad somebody brought this up.
Exactly. That's insane. When I heard that,
that's crazy.
Why would we go that far?
Yeah, that is
that's
insane.
people's livelihood and families that you're trying to ruin and break up. That's so ridiculous. That's why to see all this hate and stuff, I'm like, yo, I don't stand for none of that.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are doing this and you don't know us. We don't even hate each other the way y'all hating so bad. So it's like, what is going on? Like, who, like, y'all got a lot of time on your hands.
And I seriously do want to say that to anybody that's watching this episode, as we share our opinions and we're talking about the conversation. Like, that's all that it is. I know for sure they don't. I know for sure I don't wish any harm or ill on anybody. And, you know, let's just keep that in mind when we're commenting on folks and stuff like that. Make sure that we not CPS.
Exactly. That's insane. When I heard that was crazy.
That's crazy.
Why would we?
Remember on the podcast, this is just a clip. But remember, they brought up the fact that there was a rumor that folks called CPS on her children. When Hula Hoop went on Call Her Daddy, she said that didn't happen. But CHELLEY and Olandria were so concerned about that. They were very specific. They didn't just say, oh, the hate. No, they talked about the CPS. They said, no. You even have CHELLEY saying, you guys are trying to break people's families up. We don't stand for that. They were Pacific. What Hydroxycut did was she went in that interview. She said, oh yeah, don't send any hate towards Olandria and CHELLEY. However, I was bullied. Okay. And mind you, she did that on that interview. She never did it on her platforms. Your platforms would get way more views than that interview. She knew that. She knew that. She wasn't going to put anything up that would get Olandria and CHELLEY support. Because now if I do that, I'm supporting you. No. Mind you, those interviews, here's another reason why I think Olandria and all of them unfollowed her too. Not only did they ask her to make those posts, but mind you, she did that interview while they were still in that Airbnb. They were all still wrapped up and hugged up with each other. And she goes and she does that interview and she says that shit, which is why after that, you never see her with anybody. A whole fucking weirdo. She's racist. That's why she has the fan base that she has. Her fan base saw her be racist and was like, oh my God, finally. We activated. Hookah knew exactly what she did. Hookah knew exactly what she was doing. All she had to do is make a quick video. Hey guys, these are my friends. The same way CHELLEY and Olandria said, these are my friends. I do not like the racism that I'm seeing. And I'm happy that Olandria said that. Girl, you didn't prioritize the bullying and the racism. And what was her response? I was being attacked racially too. You remember how Black people started Black Lives Matter and then white people said White Lives Matter too? Racism. She's racist. She's racist. Mind you, how are you being attacked racially? I'm not saying it didn't happen, but you have Olandria and CHELLEY giving you examples. She didn't provide not one example. Not one example. She's just regurgitating what her fan base is telling her to say. Clock it. Dangerous human being. Dangerous human being. Dangerous human being. And not once could she give you an example. Not once could she give you an example of when these girls bullied her. Outside of, oh, well, my fans made edits. My fans made edits. The girl loved the heat that CHELLEY was getting. And if it meant that Olandria got it too, so be it. So be it. So fucking be it. Hysterical, loved it. She loved it. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Horsetail doesn't have women friends. She keeps women around for access to men. Let me tell you something else too. Be very scared of women who don't have female friends. Be very scared of women who don't have female friends. I have male friends, yes. Thank you so much. I come in peace. Her following is very similar to Kate Clark. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And Kate Clark does the same thing. She be knowing what the fuck she be doing too. She be knowing what the fuck she be doing. She stood up before, but she stopped doing that. She stopped doing that. When she saw how big her fan base was growing, she was like, yeah, it's not my job. It's not my job. Be very leery of women who don't have female friends. Amelie, mind you, the clip she's saying she felt bullied was them discussing her bullying Iris. Iris ain't have shit to add to that, huh? Thank you so much. Iris didn't have shit to add to that, right? Mind you, too, in that, it wasn't that same episode where she pulled Iris to go speak, but Iris was with Pepe and Jalen, and even Pepe and Jalen were terrified to leave her with Iris. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember how they were, we don't know if we should, they literally went around the corner and was like, do y'all remember that? They were scared to leave her with Iris alone. Iris ain't have shit to talk. Iris didn't have nothing to add to that, huh? Interesting. Lips ain't have nothing to say. Lips ain't have nothing to say. The fact that she refused to do that, I feel like that alone should be a reason for no brands to work with her. The fact that that woman did not, like, she knew her fan base was being racist. She loved it. She enjoyed it. You have Olandria crying. That's disgusting to me. We get to the heart rate challenge, and honestly, again, CHELLEY wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong. I don't like that they edited out the way that Ace was addressed. Ace did get a lot of questions. Jeremiah said he did. They didn't. They edited that out because they want to make it seem like CHELLEY only had heat for Hippo. And that's just not the case. I really hate that. Let me ask y'all something, though. Yep. When she was on Alex Cooper, I mean, a pathological liar. Hydroxycut is literally a pathological liar. What I said in that live was correct. a pathological liar. Which is why I don't know what she was talking about. She ain't never mentioned no essay. She never mentioned that. I don't know what she's talking about. And because she's such a pathological liar, I don't know. Nothing that comes out of her mouth is the truth. When she was on Call Her Daddy, what did she say? She said she didn't put her ass in nobody's face. Go back and, well, don't go watch it because your brain cells will leave your body. But literally, she lied. She lied. Not only did she put her whole ass in that man's, but her face was down there too. Again, it wasn't enough for her to do it on the couch. She had to do it again. Again. Flo, Huda's energy is performative. Big smiles, love yous, loud laughs, funny in the moment, but after it ends, there's a void instead of lasting warmth. Very common with people who have strong narcissistic traits. Very true. Very true. And those I love yous are very manipulative. Very manipulative. Thank you so much, Lala. The fact that the heart rate challenge was still edited, but we got the full unedited versions of Jeremiah and Hannah's elimination tells me production is still trying to save Honda Civic. Absolutely. 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 They are team Honda Civic all day. She reminds me of a Lugawu. Trust me, I know. I will say this. I think a lot of people missed it, but when she was putting her butt in Ace's face, Ace did like this. I think a lot of people missed that, but Ace did like that. He didn't push her, but he did like this. Yes, he was having fun in the moment, but he definitely did one of these. I noticed it. But still, I still feel like he should have got more heat for that. But like I said, like we all know, he did. It was edited out. We know Shelly went at his head top and it was edited out because they wanted to make her seem like a villain, period. And that's what got her and Ace kicked off, if we're being honest. The whole, everything was consensual. Her saying, but everything was consensual. And then you have lips in the back. Well, we didn't discuss boundaries. I love what Shelly said. Yeah, everything's consensual, but I shouldn't have to tell you not to put your tongue on my man's dick. Like, what are we doing? By that time, it was like week 5. Everybody was settled into their couples. Heart rate was up. What'd you want him to do, die? Oh my gosh, that too. Thank you so much. I almost forgot. Verona, thank you so much. Huda moaning when she was on top of him was crazy. The moaning. Mind you, Hysterical does this post bringing Chris into the villa for Shelly and for her because she loves Shelly so much. He's here for me and for you. So why did you have to do that with Ace? That's Shelly's whole point. You did that because you wanted to show Shelly that you could get what she got. You wanted that moment. You were mad that Chris was out here making her 2 pancakes and getting her flowers. And while Chris was doing that, you had Ace was bringing trees to Shelly at one point. Let me go ahead and just pick up this tree real quick. This man was bringing trees to Shelly at one point. She wanted to get what Shelly had. After they discussed this, they talked about the whole screaming and proved that it wasn't Sierra, and they showed it was her and Iris. I thought that shit was dumb. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't get it. Outside the villa news, it looks like Ace is going to be talking with Speedy. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Now, how tall is Speedy? Because do y'all see him standing neck and neck with Ace? Oh, it's not. No, it's not an interview. He said, wait, what? Speedy said no.
I don't know, because then I also saw this. Hold on. Ace did put this also in his Insta stories. Oh, wait. Somebody said, okay, no interviews happening. Okay. Keep Shelly away from Speedy. Why? Did he say something bad about Shelly? Speedy's takes on Olandria was weird to me. I don't know about him. Oh, okay. I didn't know. Thank you so much, Tamara. Shelly looked overwhelmed when Hula Hoops kept saying "I love you" to her while explaining her plan with Chris. Hula Hoop was pressuring her to agree, and Shelly seemed uncomfortable and exhausted. They were all exhausted. That's just the painful truth about the experience of all the Islanders this year. She exhausted and drained them all. They've all said that. Nick's just said that on the Keke Palmer podcast. Taylor has said it. She drained them all. And even down to this reunion, no accountability whatsoever. And to be honest, like, if you go in Shelly's comment section right now, it is so bad. Like, the racism, I hope she's not on social media. I hope she takes time to herself. It's so bad. It is bad. Anyway, y'all, that's it. I really hope that Helicopter is not getting, I don't want to see this woman anymore. I think that this woman is racist. Her fan base is racist. Her fan base is very dangerous and harmful. And it's been so weird to see Black women standing by her. BBC did a whole article about Nigerian women showing her support. You know, I didn't want to focus on that because y'all know I love my Nigerians. There's this one girl on TikTok who I had to block that kept coming up on my For You page. She even has like a short song that she made for Helicopter. It's just weird. It's weird. Thank you so much, Lala. Nick finally unfollowed Habubu after the reunion aired. I wonder what we didn't see. Why did it take him so damn long? He should have been did that. Somebody said, leave us Nigerians alone. Listen, it's not me. BBC has a whole article. It's not me. But I'm gonna tell you, there was one Nigerian girl on TikTok I had to block. It was fucking weird. It was weird, boo. Like, I will say this, that I did clock the fact that a lot of the Black women who were in support of Hydroxycut's treatment of Shelly and Olandria, I clocked the xenophobia. I clocked it. Whether you were Nigerian, whether you were, another, from another Caribbean island, I clocked it. I know how a lot of people view Haitians. I know how a lot of people within the Afro-Caribbean realm and even some African spaces view Haitians. And it's so sad. It's so sad because Shelly didn't deserve any of that. Shelly doesn't deserve any of that. So I clocked the xenophobia. It was very weird. It was very fucking weird and sad. I know you ain't tell one. I know. I'm gonna say a lot of things, but I ain't gonna lie. The way y'all step behind horseradish so you can be xenophobic to other Black women, y'all are fucking raccoons. Like, y'all are raccoons. Knitters. Yep. Helga really thought the midnight ballerina stunt would have made him choose her. That's what she was looking for. It was clear. I don't want to see horseradish no more. I don't want to see her. I'm done. I'm so happy that this season is over. And to be honest, I don't think I'm going to watch next season. I think that the way Love Island handled the Black folks this year was truly disgusting. And I feel like there was enough discourse out there and enough publications, enough education placed out there for them to come back with this reunion and edit it correctly. And they chose not to. They chose not to. And I think that was very, very intentional to paint Ace, to paint Olandria, to paint CHELLEY in certain lights. To not show Jeremiah going off about being abused by Hululu. It's all racism to me. And I just feel like these producers of Love Island were racist. Very fucking racist. Very racist. And it was very heartbreaking to watch. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. So those are my thoughts. I'm happy this is over. I'm going to pick back up Love is Blind. I know the weddings are tomorrow, so I'm late, but I am all caught up, but I am going to be uploading those reviews. And yeah, y'all, I'm glad this is over. The anti-Blackness, the racism, the way I got attacked and lied on. I think just this season of Love Island, reviewing this season took a real toll. It just was a lot. It was a lot. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to do this next season, child. We're going to see. We shall see. We shall see. But go ahead and like this video, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and save it so that you guys can, let me know your thoughts. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what's going to happen with Olandria and Nick, CHELLEY and Ace. I'm really excited to see where they go. I really wish them the best. And I hope that they know that they're very, very loved and that they did a great job. Great job representing us and having a good time. And I saw that Ace unfollowed Love Island as he should. I hope he protects his energy. I hope they all protect their energies. I hope that they move on with their lives and start getting to the bag. Point blank, period. I'm excited for all the things that they're going to do. And it was an honor talking about them and reviewing their experience. I hope that they feel loved by all of us and they feel supported by all of us. And yeah, those are my final thoughts, y'all. Those are my, oh my God. And shout out to EJ. EJ went to CHELLEY's party. He gave her a gift. I want to send EJ love too. Big ups to him. He facilitated a very great environment to show love to CHELLEY and Olandria. And I think that he deserves all his flowers. So make sure that you stop by his page and, you give him love too. All right, y'all. It's back to Love is Blind tomorrow. So I'll see y'all for that. Okay. I will see y'all for that. Also, let me know. Oh my God. There's another show that I started watching. It's called My First or something like that. I think it's on Peacock too, or Hulu. That shit looks crazy. So I'm going to review that too. So stay tuned. It's other dating shows that we're going to talk about. I love you guys. Thank you guys for supporting me. I feel like we got closer this season. So I'm excited to see all the things we do together. Stay tapped in. We already about to be in September. I have some fun stuff coming up that I want y'all to come to. Y'all know it's going to be free. When it's me, it's going to be free. So I'm going to see y'all soon. All right, y'all. Love you guys.
VBS, I just turned the water on. Big old flex that you never saw before.